Greetings, Bronson here, the Meta Monday submission. Now, last time I spoke about some of the equipment that Nighty and I use making our meta movies, and one of those things is the flip cam. And I cannot recommend this piece of equipment enough because it is inexpensive and very available. They're very easy to find, and it is extremely easy to use, very, very intuitive. Now on the back of it, there's a view screen, so that while you're shooting, you can get a pretty good idea of what you're going to see on screen. The thing I'm going to address today is the fact that because this piece of equipment is so cheap, as in inexpensive, it doesn't have steady cam technology in it. So when you are taking your shot, if you take a step, even if it's a very deliberate, careful step, the shake on the picture is pretty dramatic. It's very noticeable, and it just really, no matter how much care you try and give when you take a step, it just really translates strongly into the camera. So how to get around that? Either A, you buy a camera with Steadicam technology, which is significantly more expensive than this little guy, or you do what Bronson did. You build a yoke out of PVC, because a 10-foot long piece of PVC is, I think at the hardware store, I think it was $4 and some change, and then each of these 4 elbow connectors here were 44 cents or something, and then there's a cap, and that was another 44 cents, and then this T-shaped joint. So you end up with very little money invested. It takes no special tools. I did this with a hacksaw and a tape measure, and it took me 10 minutes, I'm guessing, or so. And what you do is go to the bottom of your cam, and you will see a threaded hole there, and you find a bolt that is properly sized to fit into that threaded hole. And then I put a lock washer in there, and then another one on the outside, and then 2 nuts. Giggity. And the first nut holds the lock washer down, obviously, and the second one, what it does is you spin it up against the camera, and it holds the camera solid on the bolt. Because if you don't have that nut up against there, you can see that the camera very easily moves, and you don't want to try and pan around with the camera flopping all over the place. So tighten the nut up against there, and then you take your yoke, you place that on there, and what this does is it moves your hands out away from the camera, and it creates all this room, which is forgiveness, basically, for movement. And so you can take a step if you're careful. It takes a little bit of practice, but you can take steps. You can walk around and not shake the camera around. You can take steps, and another nice thing is that you can get some cool angles and maybe some floating camera effects, and still easily see the screen, because you've got your hands out away from the camera. You've created a broader control. So with a little bit of practice, it works pretty good. It's not perfect, but it works pretty good, and it's cheap, and it's easy, and those are the big ones. Is it cheap, and does it work? And both of those two things are yes. So maybe that'll be some use to you. Maybe that'll be some knowledge that'll spark an idea for you. Now, I didn't glue any of these pieces together because they're pretty tight, and I thought, well, if I don't glue them, perhaps I can create other configurations and pull it apart and put it together and make some other things, maybe put some feet on it or something so I can just set the whole yoke down. I don't know, I'm still messing with it. But that is the Steadicam yoke, and I hope it turns into some knowledge that you can use. All right, that's all I got. I will see you next Monday. Enjoy the meta. Bronson out.